Hey, it's me, Bob. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Okay, we're going to start with number one on our list. This one is going to be called the Pact for the Future, or as Emmanuel Macron called it 8 years ago, as you'll see, it was called the Pact for the Environment. Now, if you're familiar with my website, I did a 8-part series, maybe a 9-part series years ago on the subject of the two witnesses. By the way, if you're not sure about the identity of the two witnesses, they are Enoch and Elijah. And I am 100% positive that they are Enoch and Elijah. And I feel confident that if you watch my 8 or 9 part series, you too will be confident that Enoch, along with Elijah, are the two witnesses. In that series, I think it was the second part, I had a series called Jude 14. And I used Jude 14 as my main source to prove that Enoch was one of the two witnesses. So in this particular 10-part series that I want to do, I want to stipulate that, in my opinion, if I could prove that Emmanuel Macron is the Antichrist, we're going to start with the most important one, which is number one, which is this Pact for the Future. You're going to see from some of the stuff that I'm going to put forth here that this stuff is creepy because 7 or 8 years ago on my website, I put this information and I was astounded at that particular point at what I was looking at. It was absolute proof that Emmanuel Macron had some ideas as to the tribulation period and what he wanted to accomplish during the tribulation period. I even named his pact for the environment the Tribulation Pact because this is what he was going to introduce at the UN or to the UN as his blueprint, if you will, for the tribulation period. But a lot has happened since then, COVID and a lot of other things. So it obviously wasn't God's timing for him to present that. But guess what? This September on the 23rd, as I mentioned in the opening video, which could possibly be the same day as the rapture, we have our boy Emmanuel Macron reintroducing this Pact for the Future, or as he called it, the Pact for the Environment. And it's going to be discussed at this September 23rd meeting. And after you see some of the things, as I said, that I wrote about, and I put down some of the things that he was talking about, you too should be amazed at what's going to be introduced at this UN meeting on September 23rd. It should be quite incredible. So as I said, this will be a 10-part series, hopefully, Lord willing, and this will be part one. And this will be about Emmanuel Macron at the UN on the 23rd, introducing his Pact for the Future, or as he called it, his Pact for the Environment. And I'm going to outroll, is that the term? No, I'm going to roll out some of the things that were discussed and some of the things that we need to discuss and look at. Okay. By the way, I just wanted to add this in here. I mentioned the blueprint a little while ago, a few seconds ago. I want you to look at these two graphics here about the blueprint and something else that's pretty interesting. Okay. Okay, there's something that we need to discuss here, and we need to remember that 7 or 8 years ago, when Emmanuel Macron was talking about the Pact for the Environment, if you remember back that far, the environment was the most important issue at that time. We had Macron, and we also had the Pope talking about the environmental issues. By the way, if I remember correctly, Emmanuel Macron was voted by the UN to be in charge of the environment. I don't know if you knew that, but he was in charge of the global environment at that time. But since then, the environment has not been that as important as it has been, as it was back those years ago. But it is making a very steep comeback, as you can see from this graphic here. So we have to remember that when Macron was talking about the environment, he was talking about something that he knew a lot about. And because we're in a different time now, 8 years later, that environment that he was discussing has been sort of upgraded to a different level, as we'll continue to discuss. But the reason it was important back then, and the reason it's going to be more important in the days ahead, is because the environmental issue is a global issue. It's something that is what they call a platform. Every country, every person in the world will be under an environmental platform. And that's what Macron and that's what the global global people that are pushing the environmental issues want to have instituted for the tribulation period. They don't realize it now, but that's what they're up to. And Macron is going to be the one that codifies all of these global issues into one pact. And that's the pact that we're talking about right now. And that's the pact that he put together back 7 or 8 years ago. And it's beginning, as I said, it's beginning to codify. It's beginning to form into one contract, if you will, at the UN. And again, the reason for the environmental issue is because it's a global platform. It's the issue, in my opinion, excuse me, and in the opinion of a lot of Bible prophecy watchers, that when the rapture takes place, uh, the excuse the excuse that the globalists will use as to where all those millions of people went will have to do with something that I'm going to put a couple of videos together and put right here for y'all to see what could possibly take place. And it's the fake alien invasion, where the aliens will land. They will say that they're here to repair the world, which we Earthlings have screwed up, and they're going to put it back together again. And this problem that we caused has to do with the environment. Now, of course, this fake alien invasion is going to be something that the devil is going to incorporate. It's going to make an excuse as to where all of the millions of people went, the children and the Christians, and they're going to use the environment as an excuse for the fake alien invasion. That's why the aliens came here. They're going to come here to make things better. And perhaps this video here will lend a little insight into that. And we'll see what you think of this, okay?
Project Bluebeam, which outlines a detailed plan to create a one world government and a new world order. And the plan is about to go into motion. Manas's theory goes on. The invasion will begin with staged UFO sightings over major cities, causing mass panic. Governments around the world will issue warnings of an impending global catastrophe. They'll ask permission for something unthinkable and will say yes.
So, as you can see, there might be a fake alien invasion, and this invasion will be to clean up the earth. And that is exactly why 7 or 8 years ago, when Emmanuel Macron came into office, he started something called the Pact for the Environment. Lately, it's been changed to the Pact for the Future. I have some thoughts on that because if you remember, the UN wants to institute, or they want to introduce, the special envoy for future generations. They keep using that word future. They're concerned about our future, especially the future of the children. So Emmanuel Macron's Pact for the Environment is now the Pact for the Future. And all of the things that are on my list here have been introduced and probably will be all codified into this Pact for the Future with the special envoy. It's very possible that on September 23rd, 2025, guess what? The Antichrist might be revealed, and along with that might be his special envoy for future generations. And that could only be one person. It could only be the Antichrist. I'm sorry, not the Antichrist, the false prophet. So both the Antichrist and the false prophet could very well be introduced to the world, not to us, because I think we'll be gone by that time, but could be introduced to the world, and it will be the Antichrist and the special envoy, which will be the false prophet, will be introduced to the world. Okay, finally, I would like to leave you with some quotes that will come from my website from 7 or 8 years ago. I keep saying that because I'm not quite sure and I don't want to get it wrong and I don't want anybody telling me that I was wrong. But anyway, from 7 or 8 years ago, these are things that Emmanuel Macron said. And if you look at these things and compare them to what might happen on September 23rd, 2025, I think you might find these interesting. And I will end this video with these quotes. Okay.